Welcome to Beyond the Margins, the podcast, the place where we engage, educate, empower, and elevate. I'm your lead learner and host, Dr. Sohn A. Each week, I sit down with some of the brightest minds and dynamic leaders in education to challenge traditional narratives, especially those shaping the experiences of students at the margins. Together, we explore new ways to reimagine schools, classrooms, and learning communities as spaces for growth and transformation. At Beyond the Margins, we center students too often overlooked, sharing the stories, strategies, and ideas that matter most. Voices long pushed aside are brought to the center. Welcome to Beyond the Margins. Did you know that fewer than 1 in 3 middle school students report having a strong relationship with their teachers? And by 12th grade, that number drops to just 16%. Research shows that students who feel connected to their teachers are significantly more engaged, both academically and behaviorally. On this episode of Beyond the Margins, we sit down with Mr. Lamar Thomas, an educational leader and coach. We talk about how trust, culture, and relationships in school create the home field advantage that gets students to show up, participate, and succeed. Please help me welcome Mr. Thomas. Welcome, Mr. Lamar Thomas. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Oh man, thank you, brother. I listen, there's no better way to start my weekend off by just sharing with you and adding value to people.
Yeah, man, appreciate you. I've seen you speak a couple times. You're a very dynamic brother. It's obvious that you're passionate about the work. So before we jump all the way in, tell us how you got started. What started your journey to educational leadership and then being the dynamic leader you are today?
Just like any young brother out there trying to make it, I never once thought I was going to even be in education. I thought I was going to be a business owner, man. I wanted to be an entrepreneur and, and have businesses, my own business, etc. But then I actually got started coaching a little league team, which kind of gave me a bug. And then I ended up joining football, the high school football team here, which kind of got me into education. So now I'm teaching. I was actually teaching careers and accounting, which is crazy, keyboarding, because I was a business ed major. And then just me being me from there, my personality never changed. I was always Coach Thomas. And so I moved from there, moved to the weight room, of course, because they wanted me to be there. Then from the weight room, I moved to graduation coach. Then I went to a counselor. Then I went to principal. I've never even been an assistant principal.
Just straight to the top. Yeah.
Counselor to principal, just because I use principles, man, and I pretty much coach today. And so everything is in perspective. The things that I've learned from coaching is the same things that I used in leadership. So I have to deal with parents. You got to deal with adults. You got to deal with the kids. You got to be able to pivot, make adjustments. So all those things mixed up is what I was able to use to propel me to be the leader that I am.
And your leadership style is very much centered in your, background and personality as a coach. So how did the team do this year? Because I know that not only are you a school leader, but you also lead the guys on the gridiron. So how'd you guys do?
Well, actually, this year, I did not coach this year.
Okay.
This year, I stepped back. So my own son is in the 9th grade. So really, I wanted to be able to be there with him and follow him through his process. So I really coached on the side. So I didn't necessarily have a full part in being on the sideline, but I just kind of helped from behind the scenes this year.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. You're a cultural guru around education, especially in alternative settings. So what is the idea of school culture? If I say school culture to you, what does that mean to you specifically in the settings that you serve in?
Well, school culture is everything. And so sometimes you could try to get specific and people say this and that and it's alternative, it's non-traditional, man. School is school, culture is culture. Whether you on the bus, you got a bus culture, you got a subway culture, right? So culture is culture, and culture is not something that is just a spur of the moment, man. Culture is a movement that has to go through a lot of people, right? And sometimes you have people like me that are culture drivers. And so my job now is to create the vision and put the culture in everybody, because culture is the people that's walking around in that building, right? And so culture is just a well-being of how do we want to perform each and every day. So that's how I view culture is, man. It has to be, what it is that we're doing. And in coaching world is home field advantage. Culture is the home field advantage. It's the better locker room, the better field, the fans cheering for us. I don't have to drive. All of that sums up culture. How I perform is based on my culture.
Yeah, and you touched on something very critical. You talked about the shared vision part of it, and using the sports analogy, that comes from the leader, the head coach, right?
Absolutely.
Teams don't call their own plays; they follow the script. And so,
Absolutely.
as a leader, what are some of the challenges that you've seen and opportunities at creating dynamic culture in schools?
The challenges, the major challenge to me will be just trying to get people to see the vision, right? And sometimes as a visionary, it's a gift and a curse, because sometimes you might be the only person that see it. But one of the things that I'm pushing out now is you don't have to have participation, to have a purpose, right? So if you got it in your heart, don't let participation stop your purpose or your passion. And so if you continue to push, then or if you on fire, everybody else will get a little smoky, right?
Yeah,
So you just
yeah,
got to keep moving, and that thing will change. So the biggest challenge is convincing people or influencing people. So really, leadership is nothing but influence,
hmm,
right? So I'm a John Maxwell consultant now. So in my latter part of the years doing the leadership journey, and I wanted to be the best that I could be. So I started reading all these books, and of course, you come across the John Maxwell books, Leadership 2.0 and all that. And so I got that book, and then I found an opportunity that I could join this. So I had to go get certified. But now throughout the John Maxwell, so I have a lot of his stuff ingrained to my coaching stuff. So man, it just makes it powerful. So, but the biggest challenge is influencing people to see the vision, right? Because now this, unfortunately, America drives off making things easier. And
yeah,
sometimes people want it easier. We want that unattainable triangle. We want good, fast, and cheap, right? And
right.
sometimes it's hard to make $1 million and not really have to work, so just getting people, because excellence is not easy. And
Yeah.
so you have to be able to be someone who's willing to go through a little something to get a little something. So just sharing that vision and getting people to see it.
You spoke about that in your book. And so the title of your book is Coaching My Way to Leadership. And so I want
Absolutely.
to read a quote and let's drill down a little further on that. So in the book, you said, one of the most powerful lessons coaching taught me was how to move crowds and to navigate different personalities. Coaching wasn't just about X's and O's, it was about understanding people, inspiring them, and bringing out their best. And so that's another one of those coaching things that you've used in your leadership strategy. Here's the question: how do you support teachers, both professionally and personally, in these environments that are high stress? Oftentimes, they're triggering for the educators and the students. How do you find ways to support your team?
My job now as the forest ranger that I call myself now, I've been on my Smokey the Bear. I'm the forest ranger now putting out forest fires, right? So my job now is to make sure I put out fires before people burn out. So you too could prevent forest fires. One of the things that I tried to do is one, get them to understand themselves. And so when you come here, you are an aspiring leader. So if
Mhm,
you don't want to be an aspiring leader, then you can't come to me, because I don't want to keep you forever. My job is not to entrap you. My job is to equip you, right, and give you tools so that you can move and grow. And I think that as long as I keep their goals in front of them, and now they don't necessarily see me just as some boss up here, you see me as an accountability partner,
mhm,
because I'm trying to give you jobs and give you steps to help you reach the goals that you set. And so oftentimes I say, now this is what you want. So you need to make sure that you're doing the things that you want.
mhm,
And so just you got to know who you are. And in part of my leadership training, I became a DISC consultant, right? So I'm a behavior analysis. So I got crazy and I really wanted to know why people do some of the things that they do. Like some people, you just difficult for no reason. Why do you do that? And so I didn't go back to college, but I did get certified to be a consultant for behavior consultant, right? And it's interesting because I could read people now. So I could tell you a little bit about yourself and I can help you understand more about yourself. And now with that, with the staff, I'm able to help people be more in their normal behaviors. Because see, we all, even you, Dr. Butts, you have a normal behavior that you love to be in, like when you in your element, maybe with the guys or whatever, this is you. And then you
mhm,
got an adaptive behavior. Maybe when you in this certain situation, we all kind of fight or flight type of mode.
mhm.
And so sometimes at work, you got to understand we have people that are working in their adaptive behavior. This
Yeah.
may not be what I want to do. I'm doing this because I have to get paid, but now I'm unhappy. But if I could get you to be moving towards something that your normal behavior that makes you happy and work, if I could work on that work-life balance and that work balance and get that to equal out, man, you get some people that's really willing to go. So it's not my vision, it's our vision, it's your vision. And I'm just a cheerleader, I'm just a ranger to keep the park safe so that you could get through and do what you want to do.
And that's the hallmark of a good leader is you tap in, you find people's strengths and weaknesses, you solicit buy-in, you
Yeah.
solicit support, and more than anything, you facilitate and make sure your people have what they need. And it sounds like you're doing a great job at doing that and developing culture. Here's the next question though. What
Okay.
happens when culture is unattended to, when it's left and is maybe just walked away from or is left to develop on its own? What happens in those cases?
Well, I think that's a tricky question just because culture in itself, if the system is set up right, culture is supposed to flow. It's supposed to be fluent. So it's
Uh-huh.
not supposed to be stagnant. So you
Uh-huh.
don't necessarily move, from that. You just kind of change and evolve, right? Just like the kids, just like time. So we evolve. So your culture shouldn't be the same. It should move, right? And so you as a culture driver, you should have a system set in place that the system rolls with it. Right. And so when you coaching and you athletic, you roll with it, right? Or
Mhm.
sometimes if we running a wing T offense or we running the spread, are you running the triangle offense in basketball? Are you pressing? You running the zone? So, but you got to roll. The team can't stop. And so, whether you cheering, and I think that how you use the principles that I talk about in the book, how you use time, right? How important time is. How the system makes the culture go. So you don't necessarily have to deal with it being stagnant because it should evolve and it should flow. Now, if people are not necessarily as cheerful or as excited to do it, then yes, you have to adjust the system. That means we got to call a timeout. We
Mhm.
finna have to huddle the team up, and we gonna have to discuss that. So we might have to do some community circles. We may have to do something different to get them back out there. But there's nothing wrong with calling a timeout.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with it at all.
absolutely. And that systems approach is really the underlying bedrock foundation of any successful organization. Because using the sports analogy, sometimes players come and go, right? But
Absolutely.
but the person you need is a person who can fit that role. My high school ran the wing T offense,
Oh
and
yeah.
from junior high school we learned the system,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
knew who fit where by the time we got to varsity. And so you get this machine of the
yeah.
organization doing this thing.
So with that though, with the system, so it connects with knowing who you have on your team and knowing their personality. So now even when this one person leaves, I know now that this is the personality that we gotta find to put in this spot. We can't just get the next person because they may not have that personality,
Mhm.
right? And you don't want to get everybody who's just like you because now nothing to get done because we all the same. So you gotta have your dominant people. You gotta have your people that love to talk. You gotta have your data people. So you gotta have your workhorses that keep it together. And so, everybody has a role and just learning more about your role and putting them in that role keeps it flowing. This year, I don't know which presentation you heard, but a lot of times I call myself Phil Jackson, right? So I'm
Right.
coming in and bringing that triangle offense, and so it's going to create that fluidness. So you may have some stars out there; they might be ISO kings, right? But you ain't winning no championship. So you don't win championship till you get in that right system. When
Yeah.
Jordan got in the system,
Yep.
I won six, right?
Yeah.
Kobe won what, five,
Yep.
right? And he what, 14, 15. So the
Yeah. Tom Brady. Yeah.
system can make average people rock stars,
Yep.
champions. And so that's what I try to focus on is just creating a system. And so my job as the leader here now is to do the leadership dance, right? To be a tour guide, right?
Mhm.
I'm not a travel agent. I'm not just gonna sit at my desk and tell you how great you could be. I got to get out here and show you. I got a model. I got to do it. I got to sweep the floors, right? And so I got to do it. So that's just the leadership dance, as we call it. Man, I walk in front of you so you can see how I do it. I walk behind you because I'm gonna catch you and push you forward. Then I'm gonna walk beside you and let you know I'm right there with you. So we're gonna be dancing all the way through.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I always internalize and visualize as leading from the back, pushing the people right where they need to
Oh yeah.
go, leading from the front, taking the charge, or in the middle, being amongst the people and
Oh yeah.
sharing the ideas together, right? And so sometimes leadership gets skewed. and people take it as a dominant or authoritative stance, and that seldom works. Not just for students, but for your staff as well. And so I think that relational leadership, that servant leadership, takes us a long, long way.
Well, you just got to know your people. So if you have an organization and anybody listening that's on the podcast, please learn your people, right? Because now and in coaching, you know that, right? It was a unwritten rule, and growing up, you knew that. You knew who to talk to, who not to talk
Mhm.
to.
Uh-huh.
You know which auntie, some of y'all know which parent you could ask this question. I may not ask this parent the same way, but it grown-ups are the same. And sometimes, man, we try to live by the golden rule, and the golden rule ain't really it. Treat people how you want to be treated. That is part of it, but you got to treat people how they want to be treated. So we
Yeah.
call that the platinum rule. I
Yeah.
need to know you, so I know. So some people may not, you don't need to have these long meetings for. Some
Mhm.
people I can yell at, some people I can't. Right? You just got to know your people and know what push them. So if you're a leader, you got to know who's in the boat with you.
And one of the things in leadership is prescriptive approaches to any situation. And that also speaks to the role of grace and understanding and being a listening, open leader who people feel comfortable bringing all manners to. I'm running late for this reason, or I can't handle this instructional piece for this reason. The way you lead and the coach you build kind of indicates how successful everything else is going to be in your school.
Right. The last chapter in that book is empathy, right?
Mhm.
And so one of the things that you really gotta focus on as a real leader and as a person, man, everybody's not a little you, right? And some of us that got kids, you so much, you want them to be better than you, but everybody is not you. So you got to be able to take that in. And now I've been studying some of our soldiers, right? And so
Mhm.
one of the things that they have is just you got to change your expectations. And that is so big for us now. And I say in education is in leadership, man, people get frustrated and burnt out when your expectations are not being met.
Right.
I have a vision for you and you're not meeting that vision. So now I'm getting frustrated, but you got to change your expectations, right? And you got to know who you are and roll with it. So that's not even a problem. So I got to be able to guide you, okay? So I could show you what I'm expecting and
Mhm.
then like you could change it, inspect it, but not just expect people to go a certain way and it won't work. So, but just knowing that, man, that has saved me a lot too. I'm just teaching people don't make those assumptions, right?
Mhm.
You taking stuff personal that you don't even know, that person is their personality. They don't mean it. They don't even know they doing it.
Right.
You got blind spots, man. And so there's a lot of things that I do with my staff to try to help them one identify. And we do another thing you could write down and do with your team called a Johari model. I don't know if you ever
Yeah,
seen the
yeah.
Johari.
Jari squared, four
Yeah,
squared.
the Johari window. The
Yeah.
Johari window is good because we all have blind spots. We all got stuff that we do that we don't know that we do,
Yep.
right? And sometimes those things that we don't know that we do bothers the next person, right?
Exactly.
And so like that
Yeah.
person need to be able to trust that I could tell you like, hey, look, I don't like when you do that. And then I gotta be able to trust that they telling me the truth and that we can work together and put more things in the arena that we all know. You know what I know that you know, and
Mhm.
we good. So man, and it helps us move better. It keeps the forest fires down, man. It keeps all them little messy drama things, keep that down. And we all pushing, man, pushing to get better, man.
And that's the development of community. And
Oh yeah.
that's ultimately what you need to have the successful organization and implementation of school. So what are some of the other, maybe missteps or mishaps that leaders might make when they're trying to fix broken culture or fix their school culture?
The biggest mistake you're gonna make is sometimes we get caught up trying to win the battle that we don't need to be fighting.
Mhm.
We fighting the wrong battle, and I say that just because when you go into turnaround schools and some of the people that I mentor, man, a lot of the time they spend so much time focused on things that really not that important,
Yeah.
right? When I could really come over here and focus on these, two things, and that's gonna fix majority of the issues and problems that I have. Or you spend 2 years trying to convert Dr. Butts to be what I need him to be, right? And maybe y'all just need to have that conversation. This is the type of stuff that I need, and I don't want to do that. Then maybe we need to find somewhere else for you to go and
Mhm.
let me get some more people in here that's going to do what I need them to do. So most of the time, principals feel handicapped, or not even say principals. Let me rephrase that: a leader, because you could be a manager, you could be Chick-fil-A owner. A
Mhm.
lot of times we feel like we cannot remove the people that's not in the boat, that's not with the team, and get some more people in. Sometimes we feel like I have to be in this box and I have to try to convert this person. It's not, man. I have to put the triangle out there, right?
Yeah.
Either you gonna pass the ball and rotate like I need you to, or you gonna sit on this bench. I
Right.
mean, come sit over here
Yeah.
because we gonna move.
To the trade deadline, then we'll get somebody else. Yeah.
Correct. If you can't pull and kick out and lead up on this linebacker when we running this buck sweep, if that running back don't turn up when he need to, you gonna be on the bench.
Yeah.
Beyond the Margins, the podcast, will return in a moment.
Your Divine Journey, LLC, is here to walk with you through life's ups and downs. Whether you're seeking therapy, life coaching, support, or personal consultations, we provide a safe, empowering space to heal, grow, and step into your best self. Your journey is unique. Let's make it divine. Connect with us today and start moving forward with clarity, confidence, and peace. www.yourdivinejourneyllc.com.
At the Travel Bureau, we are dedicated to creating bespoke luxury experiences for the discerning traveler, specializing in detail-rich journeys designed with heart and intention. We turn your dream getaway into a beautiful, curated reality. Wherever you're going, the Travel Bureau will get you there in style, comfort, and joy.
If you're teaching urban, alternative, or non-traditional students and wondering why engagement feels harder than ever, the new book by Dr. Sohn A is for you. Unlocking student engagement isn't theory. It's real strategies for real classrooms, built on trust, relevance, and relationships. And educators across the country are already responding. Unlocking Student Engagement debuted at #1 in cultural pedagogies, philosophy and social aspects of education, educational professional development, and educational certification and development. Grab your copy today wherever you buy books, and let's change how engagement shows up in our classrooms. Welcome back to Beyond the Margins.
When you're having these tough conversations, which are critical to any organization, how do you do it in such a way where you retain the relationship and can build progress instead of maybe animosity or some type of dissension?
Tough conversations are always hard, man. There's no easy way to have a tough conversation. So the biggest thing in a tough conversation is, one, be authentic, have that empathy, like I said. And so it is not that I'm coming down on you. It's not that I'm trying to, but your vision is here. And in this particular role, that vision is not aligned with where we're trying to go.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm not just trying to get rid of you. Let me find something that you could be happy with. And I think that just having a relationship with people, and people still gonna do you wrong, man. You know how it is. People are difficult, right? That's the next book too, by the way.
Okay.
Just dealing with and defeating difficulties, right? So I'm gonna just take you through that journey of people having difficult conversations, difficult situations, and just how can we overcome that? And it just happens, man. Sometimes in sports, since we on that, sometimes you gonna miss that free throw, right? Sometimes you just gonna slip when you wide open for the buck sweep and you just fall down, right? It's gonna happen.
Fire right on a field goal, an extra point.
It just, oh my God, Baltimore Ravens, you just
Right.
gonna miss the kick, right? So, and they show it to us all the time, man. You just gotta live up, move on, pick it up and go. And so having that difficult conversation with the person is, I don't want you to feel threatened or like you failed. We just need to fail forward, find something that's good for you that's gonna work.
Let's shift gears a little bit. So we've been talking about your team and the other professionals in your building. Let's talk about culture and what that looks like for your students. A lot of times in alternative settings, you get disengaged students who were previously disengaged academically, behaviorally, or whatever. How does culture support students who are trying to reconnect with school?
So that is the whole vision and the things that we have. So when we have our students come in, the thing that they see, the things that they feel, that 5-second impression has to be important, right? So that starts with the secretary when you walk in the door. That starts with the custodians. we all family because that's our value. That's what I value. And if you want to be here, our values got to be aligned. If you want to be the MVP, the most valuable player, you got to share our values, right? And so my value is family. So we here for you, and we try not to mark you down or hold you down and make this. And so most of the kids that come here, they feel heard, they feel seen. We talk to them. We talk about your hair, your shoes. And so one, we gonna love you first and tell me what do you want to accomplish, and everything we do from this point is going to be to help you reach that goal.
Yeah.
And I think that the kids do it, which is also a gift and the curse, because now I keep getting them. And I'm like, man, I don't want your cousins. But here come the sisters and the
This is
brothers.
why.
Yeah, but you know how it is. Hey, man, it's good over here. Matter of fact, a true story, real true story. We had this young lady, we had this year. They had some stuff going on last year, but she started this year. She was doing well. She's finished 2 classes. She's doing well. She said, man, I want to go to the high school. And we said, baby, you're doing well. How about you just stay here, finish this year on out, and then let's talk about it in the summer and we'll decide, see if you want to go back to the high school, the bigger, better things, right? And she was, no, we going back. And the mama said, we going back. I said, fine. I
Yeah.
mean, you volunteer student, you're not here, you're not placed, you could go back. And man, they signed all the papers. The high school said, well, if you come back, you got to start these classes over. I don't care. I want to go. I want to try to be at the high school. It's probably some boy or something, but I want to be at the high school. It lasted 2 weeks. Come right back. I can't stand it over there. They don't talk to you over there. Come right on back. And now you right back where you were, so it's just a difference. And I try to explain that. Man, that's what I wish that I could change. So my other role has been the president of the Georgia alternative schools and on the national board. I want to change the narrative that this is an alternative school. This is not, I'm saying it's just an alternative. It's not the alternative, is a alternative. So we're just doing it a little different than you. And I think that every teacher that I've had here that has left and went to a public school has became one of the best teachers in that building. And the one thing that they take from here is relationship.
Yeah.
And so they know that in order to reach and teach these kids, I got to be able to address the invisible backpack that these kids are walking in with. And so these kids, so I try to tell the states that the superintendents, you need your new teachers, you need your student teachers to go through your smaller schools to develop the relationship skills and then place them in those high schools, and your high schools won't be so bad.
That relationship piece is so important. In my book, I spent a whole chapter, the first chapter, on just the importance of relationship, rapport, authenticity, finding common ground, letting your students know that you're a human. So many times we present, the all-knowing sage in front of the group, and that's really not conducive for young people who are trying to connect with their teacher. And so that relationship is essential. Everything a teacher does goes through that channel of the relationship.
Who you think has the best relationships right now in your public schools? Most of the time it's your coaches.
Yep.
Most of the time it's your band and it's your auxiliary. And it's because they spend the most time to know them. They call their name the most. And the football coaches, they fuss more than anybody else. We love them. You know what I'm saying?
And they ask about other things other than the content. They talk to people about things that matter to the young person. And so instant relationship starters. Absolutely.
Easy. And so those coaches and those people, man, they drive on that. Like, you can't coach somebody that don't trust you. So a teacher, you can't teach somebody that don't trust you. So these kids, they trust the coaches, but because if you ain't got no ride home, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take you home.
Yep.
I'm gonna
You
take you
home
home.
at the practice. You need new cleats. You need your unit practice jersey washed. Coaches got you. They don't say too much. We just put it in our bag, bring it back to you the next day. And that's the level of trust. Like educators in the classroom have to build that same level of rapport with their students, to be most impactful.
And but you won't realize how many teachers don't understand that concept. So when these kids come to your class, you're not giving them a time of day. You're not even teaching them how to be learners. You're teaching them how to be listeners. You follow my rule. If you don't follow my rule, you got to go. And that's it. And there's no love, and you're not giving them anything, right? And so I'm not saying you got to pay them out your pocket, but like the student, there's no connection. So it's hard to connect to kids that you don't even try to connect to, right? So you got, and then you get mad because they don't do well on your test. Well, you can't master content until you master culture. right? If
Yeah.
you don't master the culture, you're not gonna get that part. And so, you learn that when you played football and when you coached and help out. If these kids don't trust me, then they say it all the time. I tell you what, you got a homework assignment. Everybody listen. Go
Mhm.
to ESPN right now. This is the time because they talking about all the coaching changes and all that. And a lot of times, see how many times you hear this? The coach, he lost the locker room. He
Yeah.
lost the locker room. What that means is he didn't have a relationship with the players on his team. He lost the locker room. So all these failing schools, those principals, those leaders, they lost the locker room.
Yeah.
Lost the locker room.
And look, when an educator has lost their room when they're building, when the kids do things like roll their eyes and keep walking, when they don't
Yeah,
say good morning, you start
right.
teaching, they start talking. You lost the locker room.
You lost the locker room, man. I had a situation earlier this week too, and it'd be so crazy. And I don't talk about it as much, but people, I don't want you to think that my school is golden. Now, listen, I have a public alternative school, right? So I get them. So I got gang, right? And
Yeah.
so we had these two boys who came. They was in class, and they don't let some girls boost them up, whatever. So the boys like, man, I ain't studying that, man. We can run it, all this, whatever. And then the teacher say, man, what we doing? And then like, nah, coach, don't worry, we ain't gonna fight here, cause we ain't gonna do that at school, whatever. But when I see him on the street, I'm gonna have to get him. So like everybody else took it as, bad. But I said, man, you know what? I
It's
really
coach.
appreciate you. I appreciate you not doing all that. Like two people that y'all are so mad that y'all want to fight, but y'all say, man, we ain't gonna do it here because we already know.
Mhm.
But I said, I don't want you to fight at all. I don't want you to fight out there either because you my child now. So I want you to do right. But it was, and I told them, man, I really do appreciate you, man. I appreciate you not crashing out and trying to show out like that. And so, like, just building that relationship, man. If you could do that, man, I'm tell you another secret. Right now, we have a real vape problem. It's huge in schools,
Mhm.
but you can control it a little bit. One, train your snitches, right? You say, man, the kids that tell on the other kids.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? But then some of the kids, listen, you got two options. I didn't see you smoke it, you give it to me, I'm gonna let you go. But if you do something else, then we gotta go. And once you build that trust, like, all right, he let me go. I made a mistake and he didn't just throw me out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, man. How many penalties, how many fouls you give them before they get put out the game?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some connection and some trust.
Yeah, and young people respond when you give them an opportunity to do the right thing or to
Absolutely.
have choice in, what happens next. They respond to you because they know you see them, right? And you're valuing them and their input. So that goes a very long way. What's one non-negotiable for healthy school culture? It has to be there. Without it, you don't have culture.
Well, you don't have coach if you don't have trust, right? I mean, like I said, man, you can't work with people like so when the trust is gone, right? And I do understand that adults, trust is a thing, right? So with the personalities, you know who loses trust quickly, who gives more trust chances. You'll learn those, but just with the staff, students, man, you got to be able to trust. So you got to have confidence that this person is really trying to do what's best for me,
Mm.
and that goes both ways, the students to the staff. Everybody got to kind of have some type of trust and confidence. So I would say the non-negotiables, at some point when people lose confidence in you, they can't trust you. So it kind of go hand in hand to me right there. So the first thing that kind of pop up is just trust and confidence. Like, do you have confidence that this chair is going to hold me up? When I
Right.
get in my car, do I have confidence that it's going to start up?
Yeah.
And so when you talking about building a culture, no matter what my day is, like the way I start the day, they know it's going to be some music playing in the hallway. They know I'm going to fist bump you when you come through the door, and I'm going to say good morning. So that's my jump start. And so that's a non-negotiable. So I'm
Mm.
saying they should be able to have confidence that I'm going to try to help. And so the confidence that build up that I'm going to try to help also give them the trust that he is with me. And so as long as you got those two,
Yeah.
you could count a battle hand in hand.
That's good. And I think it's also important to be prepared to repair broken confidence and broken trust, especially with young people who've already had a previous, damaged relationship with maybe authority or teachers or educators. I know myself, I've had to apologize to students for offending them or taking something out of context just to repair that confidence and trust so we can get back to relationship so we can do everything else.
Correct. So it to me, just if you're gonna have a culture is trust. Now that I think about it, I mean, it's just trust, man. Like I know that no matter what, I could come in here and this is what this is gonna be. And you gotta be the safe haven for kids, man. Cause like I said, man, you don't know. And the only difference between an alternative school and traditional school, one, the kid just got caught because it's
Yeah.
all the kids is doing. Most of them,
Something. Yeah.
we all are one decision from
Yeah.
just one time getting
Yep.
caught from being that type of kid. So we all the same. And so just trusting that we're not going to alienate you or treat you like some kind of alien is big for culture. And so, like I said, that's that home field advantage, man. So you already know. And so you play sports, so you know that when you went to an away game, you
Mhm.
didn't the expectations of what that locker room was, you never knew until you walked in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It ain't been clean since last season. Yeah.
You never know. It was always a thing for us. We show up and like, man, these jokers turn the heat on,
Yeah.
but you trust that your home locker room is gonna be just right.
Yeah.
So that it's a trust. So that's culture. So my home locker room is my culture because I know that my locker is comfortable, everything is good. I trust that I can be ready to play when I'm here.
If a school leader is listening and they want to start changing culture today, I mean, other than building that confidence and trust, what's a good place for them to start with their team?
The first thing I would probably do is one, I would try to discover the values of the people in the building and try to maybe do the performance matrix, figure out who's matrix your people a little bit, figure out who needs a little help, whatever. But first thing I would do is try to discover the values of the people, right? Because it's hard to build that culture without common values,
Mhm.
right? And so if you could they got all type of value surveys and stuff out there. And easy exercise we usually try to do, and I do in the interview sometimes. I mean, I have a list of maybe 40, 50 values, right? I need you to pick your top 5 or 6,
Mhm.
right? And let's see what you pick, right? If it's love, if it's religion, if it's exercise, whatever it is, I need you to pick 6 values. And I think that if I was a leader starting at a fresh school, first
Mhm.
thing I got to do is try to figure out who's in the building with me before we get students in, right? And then we got to try to work on that relationship and work on that because then you may discover that the right people not there. And then once you do that, you're gonna have to do a few things to discover strengths, right? And I would do some form of personality test too. It don't have to be disc, it could be, one of the other ones. You got the animals now, you got, I mean, there's several. They've been doing it since,
Uh,
400 BC, man. Earth, fire, wind. I
right.
mean, are you a square, a circle? So yeah, I mean, it's a million of them, right? But at least do something so you can kind of identify the people and then figure out as a leader, this is what I need this person to do. And
Yeah.
is this person's personality aligned with what I need them to do? Because you may have somebody in English that you might need to move somewhere else,
Mhm.
right? I may have my secretary doing this that I might need to move and put her here so that I could get the best version of her. You see what I'm saying? And then now once I know that I got Dennis Rodman, so I know he's a little eccentric,
But he'll
right?
give you rebounds. Yeah.
Yeah, he can give me 20 boards, right?
Yeah.
I know he's, Steve Kerr. I know he need to know he's gonna shoot high percentage over here.
Yeah.
And so I need to find those people so that my system could flow and I will start there. Now that may take you a year, 2 or 3. It
Mhm.
just depends on the people that you already got in your building. But start with your values because if people that's with you, if y'all don't share common values, y'all gonna always bump heads.
And how do you begin to bridge maybe divergent values? Because everybody done come in, get out their car, walk into the building with the same set. Because there are going to be some differences.
I mean, but that's the beautiful part of personality test is discovering our differences so that we can make a difference,
Yeah.
right? So I realized that we all are differences, right? So if you think about a beach ball, if we just throw it up, catch it with 2 hands and we're holding it, right? I may see yellow and red, but on your side of the beach ball, you see white and green, right?
Mhm.
That don't mean that it's different. We both holding the ball. So that ball is like our kid. So we both are holding this kid. And the way I see him is yellow and red, and the way you see him is green. But we both could work together to lift that up. And I just got to understand that you are different, but that don't mean it's wrong, right? And so once we discover our differences, we learn how to put those things together, with align them. So even though a lot of times that we can have 2 different personalities, we can share values.
Yeah.
Most marriages, right? From a people that are married, most of the time opposites attract.
Yep.
So you and your wife are on different platforms, but y'all share values and family. The values is the family, but y'all are different, right? And so y'all both are holding that up, even though you see it one way and the other. I wish she would do this, and she's saying, I wish he would do that. So we're different, but we share values, which keeps us together and keep moving.
Yeah, the strength in diversity. What is one misconception about alternative learners that you would love to dispel?
They're different. That for some reason that people think that alternative means you scarred, like you have some type of leprosy or something, right? I'm saying, and again, when you realize that they are the same kids, it's the same exact kid. It's just sometimes they just have that invisible backpack, man. And people look at, I don't even like to say alternative, so now I try to say non-traditional, because you got to think, most people now, what is a charter school?
It's
A charter
alternative.
school,
Yeah.
it's not traditional, right? What is a church school?
Right.
Okay. What is a homeschool? I'm gonna
Absolutely.
homeschool my child. That's alternative school.
Alternative, right.
That's an alternative school. So alternative is not bad. It's just an alternative. And so if you want to go to Miami, some people may go through the coast and hit 95 and go down. Some people come to middle and go 75. Some people avoid the tolls. Some people go around and don't want to get there, but we all get to the same point. So don't judge the person that avoid tolls any different than the person that's going through the tolls. Some people just want to go fast. Some people want to get there fast. Some people don't mind stopping every 2 hours to use the bathroom. If you ever had a road trip, some people like to go.
Yeah.
You better hold it. And then some people will stop every hour and a half, so it's just different. And the misconception is that your difference is any difference. And now I can't even blame people, man. And unfortunately, I know that's not what you're asking, but society is like that now. Man, we judging people. You got to be left or right. You got to be one of them. And our political climate now. Yeah. And so now that people just say, just because you chose to go over here, that you're different. You're really not. And I still fight that battle every day, man. And people and because you went here, it makes you different. So, and once I really have to explain to parents, my diploma is no different from this one. You can go to Georgia Tech, you can go to the military. Like it don't hold a different weight, right? It's still gonna collect dust when you hang it up. It's no different, right? And so it just what you gonna do with it is the difference. So the biggest misconception is that alternative is different, and it's really not.
Hey, look, brother, this has been great. It's been excellent talking to you. What's next for you? What do you have on the horizon? Anything you want to share with the audience?
Absolutely. So right now I do have a couple engagement speaking coming up, but if I could settle down, the next book is going to be dealing with difficult people. So that book is going to be great. And problem is I'm trying not to make it long, because every day I come up on somebody else difficult. So I need to write about you, but so just dealing with difficulties, man, because I think there's so many people that, you expect to have this unicorns and rainbows and ice cream life. And when it's not that, I have anxiety. And sometimes, man, it's just really the expectations are off a little bit. And so we got to learn how to deal with those difficulties. So that book will be coming out. And if you have not purchased the other book, listen, you have to get the book, and then you have to get the workbook. The book is not big. I didn't write no romance novel that's going to keep you in suspense for 30 years. I didn't do that. I wrote 6 principles that I need the leader to get. And so when I wrote the principles, I also gave you this, and it's separate, because I need you to stop reading, put that down, and come over here.
Yeah.
And now when you come over here, you're going to apply it. Now you're going to put it in your life. And now I need you to go do it. Now, once you conquer this one, now let me go to the next one. So I didn't mean for it to be some long novel that you could read on the beach. I want you to read, apply, read a little bit, do a little bit. So if you haven't got that book, man, get that book. You can go to the website, leadwithlamar.com, leadwithlamar.com. And if I could help you in any way, still, I'm Coach Thomas, man. That's all I am. Not doctor, none of that. I am Coach Thomas. I'm just a person that's trying to help you get to where you want to be. That's all a coach is. I'm just the guy that's trying to help you get to where you want to be. I'm a person of value that loves people and loves to add value to people. So I value people and love to add value to people. So I'm that guy. So if I can help you, if I can coach you, man, just let me know. Other than that, I expect you to win, because that's the motto, man. So I need you to win regardless of what it is. I expect to win, so I expect you to win.
Thank you so much, Coach. You certainly added value to us today here Beyond the Margins. You always have a home here. When the new book drop, let us know. We'll bring you back. And thank you for being part of this family as well.
All right, man. Y'all, hey, reach out to me. Have a good year, man. Let's win this year. 26, we all the way in the mix.
Let's win. Let's go. Here's the truth from beyond the margins. Culture isn't something that you hang on a wall or tuck inside of a handbook. It's something you build every single day through trust, relationships, and shared purpose. In schools, just like on the field, you can have every play drawn up, but without trust and culture, you've already lost the game. When leaders create a true home field advantage where people feel valued, connected, and invested, students and staff don't just perform, they accelerate and elevate. I wonder, what would happen if we stopped managing culture and start living it? So our schools didn't just produce results, but they produced champions.
Next time on Beyond the Margins.
I noticed that about leaders, sometimes they don't listen. So you just need to be quiet and listen, take a few notes or whatever.
What does it look like when a leader aligns the people, the purpose, the resources into a kind of synergy? What happens when that happens?
Magic.
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 Right.
Magic happens. It's really quite amazing. Everybody wants to feel they have value in this endeavor. Even down to the student, they want to feel they have value.
Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Margins. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, share this episode, rate and review the show, and let's keep the dialogue going. If you would like to connect, email me at Sohn@beyondthemarginsllc.com. That's SOHN@beyondthemarginsllc.com. It's been a pleasure being with you. Until next time, keep teaching, keep learning, keep leading, and keep pushing beyond the margins.